Hey everyone and welcome. We're about to tackle one of the biggest, most high-stakes decisions any company can make, picking a new enterprise resource planning system. This is a big one, so let's get right to it. So you're looking at a new ERP, and the question inevitably pops into your head. How hard can it really be? I mean, you've got a problem, you buy some software, problem solved, right? Just another IT project.
Well, the short answer is way harder than you think. The reality is, this is one of the most complex things your organization will ever do, and the stakes, they couldn't be higher. Getting this wrong isn't just a headache. It can be an absolute multi-million-dollar catastrophe that can hamstring your business for years to come.
But hey, don't panic. The key to avoiding that disaster, to not getting lost, is having a really solid plan. Think of it as a journey. A structured journey is the best defense against a costly mistake, and today we're handing you the map. We're going to walk you through a clear 6-step process to get it right.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by looking at the challenge itself. Then we'll get into laying the foundation. From there, we'll put some vendors to the test, and finally, we'll cover how to make that big final decision.
Okay, first stop on our map, laying the foundation. It's just like building a custom home. You wouldn't just grab a hammer and some nails and hope for the best, would you? Of course not. You'd start with a detailed blueprint. And that's exactly what this phase is all about. This is where you design your success before you even talk to a single vendor.
Step 1 is all about a deep dive into requirements analysis. And let me be crystal clear on this. This is not just a job for the IT department. You have got to bring everyone to the table, the people on the ground floor, the ones who actually use the processes every single day. We're talking process owners, end users, and IT. You get them all in workshops to map out, okay, how do we do things now? That's your as is. And more importantly, how do we want to do things in the future? That's your to be.
And all of that hard work, all those workshops, they result in probably the most important piece of paper in this whole project, the requirements document. This thing is your master blueprint, your North Star. It lists out in painstaking detail every single function the new system has to have, no exceptions. Seriously, this document is going to be your guide for every single decision you make from here on out.
Okay, blueprint in hand, it's time for step 2, shortlisting. Look, the ERP market is, well, it's crowded. It's a huge sea of vendors, and every single one is going to tell you they're the perfect solution. Your mission is to slice through all that marketing fluff and find the handful of vendors that are actually worth your time.
So how do you do that without going crazy? You start broad. Read their brochures, watch their slick YouTube demos, get on a few discovery calls with their experts to feel them out. But here's the real secret sauce. You need to define your deal breakers right up front. What are the things you absolutely positively cannot live without? If a vendor can't do one of those, boom, they're off the list. It's that simple.
And the magic number you're aiming for? 3 to 4. That's it. Now you might be thinking, only 3 or 4? Why so few? Well, because what's coming next is super intensive. It's going to take a ton of your team's time and brainpower. By focusing on just a few serious contenders, you can really dig deep instead of just scratching the surface with a dozen of them.
All right, so you've got your short list. Now for the fun part, putting vendors to the test. This is where we separate the contenders from the pretenders. All those promises they made on paper, it's time to see if their systems can actually perform. The third step is to issue a request for proposal, the good old RFP. Remember that master blueprint, your requirements document? You basically turn it into a formal challenge. You send it out to your chosen few and say, okay, prove it. Show us, in writing, line by line, how your software solves for every single one of these needs.
And that leads to step 4, which is a big one, demo days. Let's go back to our house metaphor. This is like touring the model home. But here's the trick, and this is super important. You run the tour, not them. Don't fall for the generic, polished demo. No way. You give them your real-world business scenarios, the messy, complicated ones, and make them show you, live, how their software actually handles your world.
And how do you keep everything objective and avoid being swayed by the most charismatic salesperson? You use a scorecard, a weighted scorecard, just like this. Your entire team scores every vendor on the exact same criteria, the stuff that really matters to you. This is so important because it takes the gut feelings out of it and grounds your decision in cold, hard data.
Okay, we're heading into the home stretch now. This is our final section, making the final decision. The demos are done, the scorecards are in. It's time for the last couple of analytical steps before you sign on that dotted line.
Step 5 is what we call the fit/gap analysis. This is a real roll-up-your-sleeves moment. Your team gets together with that requirements document and all the demo notes, and for every single requirement, you ask one simple question. Can the system do this right out of the box, or can't it?
And your answers will lead you to one of two places. A fit is fantastic. That means the system handles your process perfectly, as is, what people call vanilla. That's the dream scenario. But a gap, well, that's a problem. A gap means there's a disconnect, and that leaves you with two tough choices. Either you pay for expensive and risky software customization, or you have to re-engineer your business process to fit the software. Understanding the number and severity of these gaps is absolutely crucial.
And that brings us to the final step, vendor negotiations. And please, hear me on this one. This is not just about haggling over the price tag. It's so much bigger than that. You're building a partnership that's probably going to last 10 years, maybe more. This isn't just buying a product. It's choosing a partner for the long haul.
So what are you actually negotiating? Well, you're thinking long-term. Can the contract handle you growing or maybe buying another company without hitting you with crazy fees? You've got to dig deep into the total cost of ownership. Don't just get fixated on the initial license fees. And hey, get strategic. Maybe you can serve as a reference client for them in exchange for a better deal. At this stage, pretty much everything is on the table.
So let's pull all this together. What we've just walked through is a roadmap. It's a proven plan to de-risk one of the most challenging projects any business can face and turn it into a manageable process. You can see how it all connects, right? Each step builds logically on the last one. You define what you need with requirements analysis. You narrow the field with shortlisting. You get the hard facts with an RFP, then you see it in action during demo days. You analyze the difference between promise and reality with a fit gap, and finally, you build a lasting partnership through smart negotiation.
And that's really the whole point. When you follow a structured process like this, the outcome is fundamentally different. You don't just end up with a software vendor. You find a strategic partner, one whose technology is truly aligned with your business goals, not just for today, but for the future.
So here's the bottom line. Your company's very nervous system, its heartbeat, runs on its processes. This decision, it's about choosing the engine that's going to power your growth for the next decade. And the only question left is, are you ready to choose the right one?